Good evening and welcome. Tonight we're gonna do just a flip through this Student World Atlas from National Geographic Kids. I picked up this atlas specifically from the library because it was published very recently, so I wanted to check out and see what it looked like from I think it's from 2019, so I wanted to see what it looked like inside in terms of updated maps and whatnot. And also because I'm atlas shopping, looking for, a new atlas, because the one I'm using was printed in, I think, 2011, so I'm, looking for any updates. This one, I looked through it briefly the other day, and it's not a winner. It does have some really cool maps inside, but not the kind of maps that I'm looking for, so I thought I'd show it to you guys. And also just some life updates while we flip through, because last night I filmed that Halloween video, which I had a great time filming, and I was looking forward to that video for so long because Halloween's my favorite holiday. And as you guys know, I do have a really light case of Tourette's, where really it's interesting in that the least occupied I am, like the more relaxed and mind empty I am, the more severe it gets. And then if I have any kind of migraine, the more severe it gets. So it's almost like, it's like a Venn diagram. If this is relaxed and head empty, no thoughts, and this is migraine, in the middle is really severe Tourette's. But anyway, typically when I have a tic, it's either physical, verbal, or sometimes both. And if it's verbal, it's either a grunt, but sometimes I yell. And I was doing the Halloween video. That's Tourette stuff aside. I was doing the Halloween video, and I was in the middle of Latin America stuff, and I could tell I was kind of starting to lose my voice, but I was like, whatever. I've been wanting to do this video for forever. And a yell popped out. And after that yell, I completely lost my voice. I had to stop filming, drink some water, relax, and then I just filmed that little thank you for watching bit. And I was really sad because I really wanted to do more. And I was really disappointed in myself, but oh well. So my voice has been kind of okay throughout the day, but it's gotten kind of rusty a little bit. And the next video I wanted to do tonight was the next country, my Countries of the World series, and I kind of started practicing, and I could feel my voice failing. And I don't, I want to be in prime condition for those the country history and stuff videos, because those videos are the most important to me. I really treasure those videos, so I want my voice to be in prime condition. So I figure we'll just do this tonight. We'll just flip through this book. I promise I'll show you the more interesting maps in a minute. But so hopefully tomorrow we will start a new country. Maybe as a treat tonight to make up for a lack of interesting, cool content. I'll tell you what countries are coming up next in each continent. And that doesn't mean those countries are coming up in order, because I know we have a bunch of countries. I think we have a lot of, I forget which continent it is. I want to say it's Europe. I forget, but I know there's one continent that we're doing a bunch of countries in a row. So if I tell you this is the next country in this continent, I know we're not going to get to South America for a long time. So when I tell you this country is next in this continent, that doesn't mean that it's coming up. Hey, I know this place. It's the Golden Gate Bridge. There's Sutro Tower, which I call the Salesforce Tower, the Sutro Tower. I do that all the time. It's just slip of the tongue. It's because the Salesforce Tower I still think of as like the new building, because they built it like 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's very recent. It's like the newest skyscraper in the building in the city. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Picture of North America from space. It says, viewed from space, North America stretches from the frozen expanses of the Arctic Ocean and Greenland to the lush green of Panama's tropical forests. Hudson Bay and the Great Lakes, fingerprints of long-departed glaciers, dominate the continent's east, while the brown landscapes of the west and southwest tell of dry lands where water is scarce. So yeah, before we get into the cool maps of each continent, I just want to say that there may not be a video tomorrow because of my voice. If my voice is not better by tomorrow, I'm just gonna take a night off and just relax and not worry about it. So I'm sure y'all forgive me if I skip a night. You know, like, I want my voice to be in prime condition, especially for this country coming up, because it's a controversial one, I suppose. It's one where if I get a detail wrong and someone from that country hears it, they could be deeply offended. So I don't want that to happen. So not only do I want to make sure that, you know, my script is perfect, which I'm sure it is, but it's good to have another day to double check just in case, look up some more sources. You know, I want to make sure my voice is nice and relaxing in telling about some things that have happened in this country, which are not things that are not relaxing that have happened in this country. So, I mean, you'll probably guess what it is when I tell you which countries are coming up next in each continent. But anyway, so if my voice is not better by tomorrow, there won't be a video tomorrow. So I'll be back the next day, don't worry. Also, my cat has a cold and he's got really bad sniffles, so he's asleep right now. And he'll probably wake up and come sit in my lap and be all sniffly. He's okay, he just has a runny nose. And I'm gonna turn on my humidifier to help him relax tonight. Hopefully that fixes the problem. So that's my life lately. Anyway, let's look at some cool maps. So, each chapter starts off with a physical map and political map, which is really cool. Because you can really see like what the world looks like without borders and politics and all of those things. You can see all the mountains here, all the valleys and deserts, the plains, the Canadian Shield, a term I've never heard of before. It's all the ice up here, Gulf of Mexico, the islands, and let's see the political map. Of course, we have Canada, United States, Mexico, all these Central American countries. You know, if it were me and I were in charge of world geography, I would definitely create more continents, for reals. I would make North America just be Canada, United States, Mexico, and then I would make Central America be the Caribbean and all of these countries here, personally. And then I would make the Middle East its own continent, and then I would probably make Asia and South Asia like separate continents, because I feel like the cat just sneezed, I'm sorry. I feel like there's such a difference between like East Asia, West Asia, and South Asia that you could totally do like a Middle East, Asia, South Asia. But anyway, it's just like, I feel like this culture is so different from this culture, is so different from this culture, so different from this culture. Anyway, same with like the Asian cultures. I guess you could say that about Europe as well, but it's Europe. Climate map. Very interesting. You can see that big divide right in the middle of the United States. The United States is so weird when it comes to climate. It's so bizarre how like one half of the country is so different from the other half of the country. And a precipitation map, which I think is the weirdest part of this book, because who's desperate enough to know about the precipitation of all the parts of the world? Who really needs to know all that? Then population maps, which I think are always interesting to really see, like, you know, just how many people live in this part of Mexico. My sniffly cow. My poor boy. You know, how many people live on this side of the US compared to this side? How many people live on this side of Canada compared to this side? Look how just populated Haiti is down here. You know, it's interesting. And then we have a predominant economies map, which, I don't know. These kind of maps just go over my head. Like, I find them so uninteresting. I just stare at it and be like, okay, sure. Like, I'm sure I could analyze it and be like, okay, whatever. Here we have detailed maps of Canada. I like these kind of maps. I like, you know, when we get into the details of each country. A physical map of Canada. You can see Mount Logan. I've got my poor cat is licking himself, but his nose is all stuffed, so it sounds all sloppy. Anyway, my poor kitty. And political map of Canada. You can see all the different territories and the different provinces. Anyway, and then same for the United States. Physical map and political map, which totally looks like the map I studied in 4th grade. So one of my origin stories in geography, I think I mentioned before how I learned geography when I was really little, but when I was in 4th grade, I was sat in the front of the class, and my poor kid, right at the front of the class there was this big map of the US, and it looked just like this. And I was really bored in 4th grade. My teacher was she was like a really slow teacher. She was a great teacher, but she taught really slowly, and I caught on really fast. But she would go over things very slowly, so I'd get bored. And I would just stare at the map for the longest time, until one day I realized I could like close my eyes and still see every single state, and I knew every single capital. And like, that was just how I learned the United States map, was just from staring at it for hours a week. Every day in 4th grade, which, for people who don't know, U.S. school system, that was when I was about 10 years old, like 10 years old. A Mexico physical map. You can see all the desert, Baja California, Yucatan Peninsula, and all the states in Mexico. Mexico is divided into 31 states and the Federal District of Mexico City. There we go. And then there's always some cool little fact page at the end of each continent. So let's read about natural disasters. The forces of nature inspire awe. They can also bring damage and destruction, especially when people locate homes and businesses in places that are at risk of experiencing violent storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, wildfires, or other natural hazards. Tornadoes, violent, swirling storms with winds that can exceed 200 miles an hour, strike the U.S. on average more than 1,000 times each year. Hurricanes, massive low-pressure storms that form over warm ocean waters, bring destructive winds and rain primarily to the Gulf of Mexico and the southeastern mainland. Melting spring snows and heavy rains trigger flooding. Periods of drought make other regions vulnerable to wildfires. When natural hazards take human lives and destroy property, they become natural disasters. Yeah, it is interesting just how many natural disasters happen in the United States alone. Good old global warming, wildfires. Just our main one in California. You think it would be the earthquakes, but I mean, here you can see like the list about the number of earthquakes in North America since 1900 that have a magnitude of 8.0 or greater, and none of them are in California. I actually remember Loma Prieta, which was, 6.4? Which was the biggest one I felt. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but I can't imagine feeling an 8.0 after feeling Loma Prieta. So let me check my notes, make sure I've got it right. I'm fairly certain I know which country is next in North America, but get my notebook out. My trusty notebook I showed you ages ago, right at the beginning of my channel. Yes, let me leave this out. So, St. Lucia is going to be the next country in North America, which I haven't really deep dove into yet. It's not going to be the next country. The country after that, it's going to be the country after that. So, I haven't got into it yet. Like maybe in about 2, 3, 4 days I will. So, I'm not positive I'm pronouncing it correctly. So, I'll know soon if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Let me put my notebook right over here. The spot where my cat usually sleeps. Right now he's trying to sleep on my pillow on my bed. Oh, my poor boy. Anyway, South America. From the towering snow-capped Andes in the west to the steamy rainforest of the Amazon basin in the north, and from the fertile grasslands of the Pampas to the arid Atacama Desert along the Pacific coast. South America is a continent of extremes. North to south, the continent extends from the tropical waters of the Caribbean Sea to the windswept islands of Tierra del Fuego. Its longest river, the Amazon, carries more water than any other river in the world. We have a physical map of South America where you can see the Amazon, the big Andes. The big Andes. There's a lot of car drama happening outside, lots of horses and things. The Andes, Patagonia, Pampas, Brazilian Islands, Tierra del Fuego, the most southernmost point of South America, Cape Horn, and the political map of South America, which I feel a little bad. If you haven't noticed, I've made playlists for every continent to file each video under, and I don't have one for South America because, let me see, the first country that we're gonna hit in South America will be Paraguay, but it won't be for a long time. And I feel bad, but South America only has 12 countries in it out of 280 in the world, so statistically we're not gonna touch on South America too often. So sorry, South America, that's kind of on you. Maybe Brazil's fault for being so big. I won't put the blame on Brazil, but yeah, so it's just kind of, what happens when your continent only has so few countries. You won't get mentioned as often. So it will be Paraguay in time, but there'll be many, many, many countries in between. Climate map. The precipitation map, which actually, this is maybe the only interesting precipitation map. Look how much rain, it's the rainforest, but all of the space gets tons of rain, more than 99 centimeters or 39 inches per year. That's a lot of rain. Goodness. population map. You can see people living along the coast here, and then of course all along the coast here. And the weird predominant economies map. And let's read about the Amazon rainforest, this cute sloth. The Amazon rainforest, which covers approximately 2.7 million square miles, is the world's largest tropical forest, located mainly in Brazil. The Amazon rainforest accounts for more than 1/3 of all the world's tropical forests. Known in Brazil as the selva, the rainforest is a vast storehouse of biological diversity, filled with plants and animals of both familiar and exotic. According to estimates, at least half of all terrestrial species are found in tropical forests, but many of these species have not yet been identified. Wow. Tropical forests contain many valuable resources, including cacao, nuts, spices, rare hardwoods, and plant extracts used to make medicines. Some drugs used in treating cancer and heart disease come from plants found only in tropical forests. But human intervention, logging, mining, and clearing land for crops and grazing has put tropical forests at great risk. In Brazil, roads cut into the rainforest have opened the way for settlers who clear away the forest only to discover soil too poor in nutrients to sustain agriculture for more than a few years. Land usually is cleared by a method called slash and burn, which contributes to global warming by releasing great amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Yeah, I do worry about the rainforest. I remember in elementary school, our teacher made us come up with think of a way to save the rainforest. And I made collection bins out of applesauce jars, and it was everyone had to fill an applesauce jar, and whoever filled it the fastest would win, and we all donated our applesauce jars to rainforest charities. It was nice. I still use applesauce jars as piggy banks. They're good piggy banks. Europe. Good old Florence. You can tell my voice is going again. This is why I'm not doing a country video tonight, because I don't want to lose my voice halfway through. Smaller than every other continent except Australia, Europe is a mosaic of islands and peninsulas. In fact, Europe itself is one big peninsula, jutting westward from the huge landmass of Asia and nearly touching Africa to the south. Europe's ragged coastline measures more than 1.5 times the length of Europe's Earth's equator and provides 32 of the continent's 46 countries direct access to the sea. Let's see, so we have a physical map of Europe. So I love physical maps. I really like the big physical maps where the mountains are raised and you can run your fingers over all the mountains. And you could feel the Carpathian Mountains and the Alps. Those are the best. The Ural Mountains. Those are the best kind of physical maps. Or globes that are raised. You can put your fingers through all the valleys. And of course a political map. And I can tell you now that the next country that we're going to go to in Europe is Serbia, right here. Yeah, we're going to visit a lot of countries in Europe. Let me see. We're going to go to... wow, we're hitting up the Balkans quite a lot, actually, now that I'm looking at my list. We're doing I didn't realize we have quite a few Balkan countries coming up, actually, so we're gonna be down here for a while. We're going up here a bit too, but we're gonna stay down here for a minute. We're bouncing all over the world, but we're gonna keep coming back to this region. I mean, all these, like Yugoslavia is all intertwined, and all these other countries, all their histories are so, you know, you'll find out soon why. I mean, it's because of old empires and things, and all conquered and whatnot, so all those countries are linked in together, whether they want to or not. Marine West Coast. I'm looking at this sharp line. What's going on there? Poland's just like, the line is here. Climate stops there. And then what's the purple? Subarctic? Or cool summer? No, cool summer. This is where the West Coast ends. Right here. And the rain map, which we all know Europe is rainy and dreary and gross. Not gross, but rainy and dreary and wet and cold most of the time. I mean, I'm from California, so you can imagine I go and visit Europe and I'm like, why is it so cold and rainy? As a Californian. Population map. We can see, wow, so many people live in like Belgium and the Netherlands. It's a lot of people. It's the people living up here in Italy. And of course, you know, up here in the UK, Portugal's hopping. I mean, Europe is just a hopping kind of place, honestly. I say honestly so often when I like watch my videos back. I almost want to start a drinking game. I don't drink, but it's like, you know, I'll make some tea and like take a drink every time I say honestly or basically. I hate when I say basically, because it's like, oh, they basically did this. It's like they didn't basically do it, they did do it. Anyway, let's learn about European waterways. Let's look at this map of the Rhine-Main-Danube Canal. The physical landscape of Europe is crossed by many rivers that link the countries, people, and economies to the seas that border the continent. 14 of Europe's countries are landlocked, which means they have no direct access to open waters. But the rivers and canals that make up Europe's network of waterways give even these countries access to global shipping routes. Oh my, I just saw this. Oh my gosh. The face of Decebalus, the last king of Dacia, is carved into the rocks above the Iron Gates gorges on the Danube River between Romania and Serbia. Gosh, this looks like something out of like a weird 80s fantasy movie. I know that's such a specific reference, but I mean, anyway, oh my gosh, where was I? I would like scream if I saw that in real life, but moving on. Look at this pretty map. We were talking about landlocked countries. The rivers and canals that make up Europe's network of waterways give even these countries access to global shipping routes. Yes. Among these many waterways, the Rhine-Main-Danube system supports commercial and recreational traffic, bless you kitty, all the way from Rotterdam on the North Sea to Constanta on the Black Sea. Rotterdam. Oh, hold on. I'm shook right now. So it says Constant. I've always said Constanta, but I've never seen it spelled with that character on the T. I don't know what that is. Does that make it soft? Is it like Constanza? I don't know. Can someone tell me in the comments? I've always said Constanta because I've never seen it with a character. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep saying Constanta, even though I know that's not right, because there's a character. Okay, Rotterdam, Europe's largest port as well as a major world port, handles 467 million tons of goods each year. And Constanza is the largest port on the Black Sea. It's Rotterdam. There. The Rhine-Main-Danube waterway boasts a rich historical and cultural tradition. During Roman times, the rivers were used to transport supplies to armies along the northern border of the empire. Cities such as Cologne, Vienna, and Budapest emerged as cultural centers, with churches, bless you kitty, cathedrals, opera houses, and palaces that today attract tourists from around the world. And the Middle Rhine in Germany is famous for castles perched high above the banks of the river, where traders once were required to pay tolls to travel on the waterways. Yeah, doing a river tour of Europe might be on the bucket list. I always hear about people who do it and they say like it's a must. So I may just have to. The beautiful Taj Mahal. Definitely bucket list. Asia. I mean, India as a whole is a bucket list, but Taj Mahal for sure. From the frozen shores of the Arctic Ocean to the equatorial islands of Indonesia, Asia stretches across 90 degrees of latitude. From the Ural Mountains to the Pacific Ocean, it covers more than 150 degrees of longitude. Here, three of history's great culture hearths emerged in the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus, and the Yellow Rivers. Today, Asia is home to 60% of Earth's people and some of the world's fastest growing economies. I remember I had a teacher who always said Tigris and Euphrates, and then I had another teacher who always said Tigris and Euphrates, so I never knew which one to say, so I kind of always interchanged. But let me also know in the comments if it's Tigris or Tigris. It's another word I should look up how to say. Tigris just kind of sounds right. The physical map of Asia. I'm trying to remember what map it was, because this is how I fell in love with those physical maps with the raised mountains, because I love to run my fingers over the Himalayas. They're so bumpy. The big mountains. Is it weird that I have like an irrational fear of Mount Everest? After it was like right after lockdown started in March, I had this weird nightmare that I somehow got stranded on the top of Mount Everest and I was all alone and I could like look out and see everything and I was completely alone with no way of getting down. I'm sure it means something very symbolic, but I don't know, just the thought of like being stranded in a place where like you cannot possibly get rescued by like anybody in the world was like really terrifying. But anyway, here's a beautiful political map of Asia. Let me see where we're going next in Asia. It's right here, Brunei. Very teeny tiny country, Brunei. That's gonna be our next Asian country. Yeah, we'll get to that in a few weeks. And sorry, I'm trying not to tick. I don't want to do any more cuts. Sorry, there it goes. Okay, climate. Interesting climate. So I see here we've got all these semi-arid regions. I've always wondered, I'm kind of excited to get into like this section of Asia because I literally know like nothing about this whole region. I know that there's like a lot of news happening like over here, like Azerbaijan's in the news a lot lately. But I literally know nothing about Uzbekistan. Like I literally know nothing about Uzbekistan. So like I didn't even know like what kind of climate they have. Like what's their precipitation like in Uzbekistan? Do you guys know anything? Ooh, sorry. Do you guys know anything about Uzbekistan? Turkmenistan? I think like the new Borat sets everybody knows about Kazakhstan. Kyrgyzstan? Does anyone know about Kyrgyzstan? I wasn't even positive how to spell Kyrgyzstan until I started this channel, and I was like gathering details. Oh, the Sea of Okhotsk. My nemesis. Population. Look at India. I mean, we all know that India has like lots of people in it, but like it's like the whole country. Like, you know how there's so many people in China, but like it's all on this side, and like no one lives in this part of China. Like Japan has so many people, but it's all here, and no one lives like Hokkaido is so sparsely populated, and no one lives in like that part of Japan. But like all of India is populated. Like, isn't that nuts? Like, it's all of India. It's so densely populated. Anyway, we're gonna skip the predominant economies map. Okay. East Asia ports. Let's learn about shipping containers, guys. I know that's everyone's favorite topic. Since the mid-20th century, the world's economy has expanded to a truly global scale, made possible in large part by the growth of containerized shipping. The first container ship, a converted oil tanker, set sail from Newark, New Jersey, USA in 1956, carrying 58 containers. Today, more than 6,000 container vessels move manufactured goods cheaply and efficiently among ports around the world. Container ships range in size up to 1,312 feet long and 193 feet wide, bigger than 4 football fields. The capacity of a container ship is measured in TEUs, a unit of measure equivalent to a 20-foot standard container. The largest container vessels can carry more than 21,000 20-foot containers, each loaded with as much as 100 tons of cargo. Container ports are equipped with giant cranes more than 400 feet tall and weighing as much as 2,000 tons that can move 30 to 40 containers on and off a ship each hour. With the world's 10 busiest container ports, Asia has become a major player in the global economy. Yeah, I know, I see in San Francisco Bay, the container ships from China come in like every day, and they're massive. And they go to the Port of Oakland, because the Port of Oakland has those big cranes for the containers to unload the containers. I feel like they could put like a better Asia fact. I see the elephants. You know what that means? You know what that means, guys? It's time for topple. It's topple time. It's topple the elephant. Time for topple the elephant. It's time for topple the elephant. And his amazing ears. Here we go. Oh, I don't have a good grip on him. Why? Here we go. There we go. Topple, come on. Okay. I don't know why I can't wiggle this ear tonight. There we go. I don't know. Anyway, bye, Topple. Okay. Africa. From space, Africa appears to be divided into 3 regions. The north, dominated by the Sahara, the largest hot desert in the world, central forests, and more dry land in the south. The Great Rift Valley may be splitting Africa apart. The valley runs from the Red Sea through the Far Triangle to the Southern Lake District. Elephants and a baby calf. Got a beautiful physical map of Africa. You can see the huge Sahara Desert, which is growing every day. So I know that. I know Nigeria and Niger are working on, what's it called? What's it called? Like, it's, I forget what the word is. trying to say like de-desertification, but I know that's not the word. But they're planting like a ton of trees like all along here to try to stop the spread of the sand further south, so that the Sahara doesn't like swallow up all of this forest land. We can see the Nile River, the Nubian Desert, which it's so cool how my Kingdom of Kush video has gotten really popular. Like, it's one of my most watched videos. And I don't know why, because a political map of Africa. I felt like when I put it out, I wasn't very happy with it. Like, I knew it was decent. Like, it's whispered, and I read everything out right, and I was really satisfied with the facts, and I thought it was very interesting. But I didn't think it was going to do well, but it's gotten tons of views, so I don't know what I did right. Our next country in Africa is going to be the Gambia, which is right there. Another tiny, tiny one. And I know that because I'm like knee deep in Gambia preparations. Not because it's the next country, because it's the one after our next country. So I'm already prepping. I'm always like at least a country or two ahead from whatever country is up next. So I'm learning all about the Gambia right now. And I actually found a really cute picture book about the Gambia. And I won't spoil it, but it's really, really great. I can't wait to share it with you. I always say that, but I really can't wait to share it with you. So I'm excited to teach you about the Gambia. Really interesting history. Really cool. There's so many interesting facts about, like I feel like the African countries have the most like interesting history. And maybe it's just because like we're never taught about African history in school. So like when you learn facts about African countries, you're like, wow, I didn't know that. That's so cool. Whereas like learning facts about European or Asian countries, you're like, oh yeah, okay. So like I already knew that. Climate map, which is pretty obvious because, you know, we've got the Sahara Desert and all the forests down here, and the Kalahari Desert, and then the Namib Desert down here. I do like how we have Eswatini there. We don't have North Macedonia in this book, though. I did check before, which was disappointing, because when I do get a new atlas, it must say North Macedonia and Eswatini. It's a requirement in my new atlas. Rain map. Surprised it doesn't really rain in this part. Population map, which is really cool. Because shout out to my friend Chelsea, who tweeted out one day like, wow, I didn't know that Nigeria was so populated. And I'm like, yeah, it's the most populous country in Africa. And she was like, wow, how'd you know that? And it's like, do people not know that Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa? And apparently people don't. It's like, people just don't like have African facts ready to go. Like, who are you people? Don't you guys study geography in your spare time? I guess not. Well, good thing you're all watching an ASMR channel where you can learn random geography facts. I was at my job the other day. Oh my gosh, so embarrassing. This one customer was talking to one of the other employees in my job, and she mentioned that she was in Australia on a tour, and it was a camel riding tour, and she's like, did you know that Australia is full of wild camels? And I wanted to hop in so bad and be like, well, did you know? Oh, I stopped myself. I really did, I promise. I did not go in hard about all the facts I learned about Australian camels for my Australian videos. I did. I really didn't, I promise. Protected areas. Look, you can see, oh, I remember I saw this when I flipped through, because it shows you the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Isn't that cool? Protected areas. Africa is home to many different animals. Some are familiar, such as the giraffe and rhinoceros. Others are rare. All are part of Earth's valuable storehouse of biodiversity, but many are at risk due to a variety of pressures. Natural changes, such as periodic drought, may put stress on both plant and animal populations, but human activity is the main threat. Africa's human population is growing on average at a rate of 2.6% each year. Converting land for agricultural use, hunting animals for food, and cutting trees for fuel, as well as expanding commercial logging and building roads, have led to loss of natural habitat for many of Africa's animals. Some, such as the mountain gorilla, are even at risk of extinction. To reverse this trend of biodiversity loss, many countries have created protected areas, which include nature reserves, wilderness areas, and national parks. Protected areas allow animals to live in a natural environment. They also provide a source of income for African countries, many of which are very poor, as tourists come on photo safaris to view these unique animals. That section's a little sus, because it's like, oh no, people are suddenly surviving in Africa. What are we going to do about the animals? What? Australia and Oceania, which we just did a whole video series on, at least the Australian part. Smallest of Earth's great land masses, Australia is the only one that is both a continent and a country. It is part of the greater region of Oceania, which includes New Zealand, the eastern part of New Guinea, and hundreds of smaller islands scattered across the Pacific Ocean. Although Hawaii is politically part of the United States, geographically and culturally it is part of Oceania. Let's see, so we have a physical map, which, I mean, next time I get a new atlas, I gotta have more in-depth maps of Oceania, because this is just not gonna cut it. Because our next country that will be in Oceania is Samoa, and maps like these just aren't gonna cut it. I'm gonna need a better map of Samoa, and we're gonna get to, let's see, I think there's one, yeah, like, and then there's another, I won't spoil, but we're doing another Oceania country immediately after Samoa, so we're gonna need better maps than this, for reals. We've got the climate map, which, I mean, it's basically just a climate map of Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea, because we can't even see the rest, but we can see some cool current maps, I suppose. Precipitation map of Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. Because we can't really see. I guess you can kind of see Hawaii, which, surprise, it rains. Who knew? Wow. Population map, which, wow. We can't see any of these countries. What's even the point? Oh, we can see the predominant economies map. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's see if there's any cool facts. There is, about the Great Barrier Reef. There's a neat map of it right here. Let's read about it. Stretching like intricate necklaces along the edges of land masses in the warm ocean waters of the tropics, coral reefs form one of nature's most complex ecosystems. Corals are tiny marine animals that thrive in shallow coastal waters of the tropics. One type of coral, called a hard coral, produces a limestone skeleton. When the tiny animal dies, its stone-like skeleton is left behind. The accumulation of millions of these skeletons over thousands of years has produced the large reef formations found in many coastal waters of the tropics. Most coral reefs are found between 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south latitude in waters with a temperature between 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It is estimated that Earth's coral reefs cover 110,000 square miles. Coral reefs are important because they form a habitat for such marine animals as fish, sea turtles, lobsters, and sea stars. They also protect fragile coastlines from damaging ocean waves and may be a source of valuable medicines. The world's largest coral reef, the Great Barrier Reef. Do you hear Darth Vader coming over here? Oh, honey, here he comes. Hey, snotty boy. Okay, come on in my lap now. Oh, he dribbled on me. Okay. There's his tail. Anyway, move your tail. The world's largest coral reef, the Great Barrier Reef, lies off the northeast coast of Australia. This reef, which is made up of more than 600 different types of corals, and it is home to more than 1,600 species of fish, is a popular tourist destination. People visit to snorkel and dive along the reef and view the great diversity of marine life living among the corals. Hi, kitty. Oh, I know you can wipe your nose on me. It's okay. It's fine, kitty. I know. I know you're very snotty. That's it. Antarctica. You can listen to the little kitty nose. Hi, honey. Antarctica. I love penguins. About 180 million years ago, Antarctica broke away from the ancient supercontinent Gondwana. Slowly, the continent drifted to its present location at Earth's southernmost point. Antarctica has no permanent human population, but it does have many types of wildlife. Seals, whales, and birds such as penguins, albatrosses, petrels, and terns have adapted to the continent's bitter cold climate and long, dark winters. Alright, so we have to move the cat tail. Jack, please don't touch the camera, okay? We have this physical map of Australia. It's all ice. And we have another physical map of, did I say Australia? Antarctica. It's all ice. Oh, sorry, kitty. Everything just got 10 times more complicated with the sick cat in my lap, trying to cuddle against me. Okay. A physical map. Let's see. Physical bedrock. Highest point, lowest point, other mountain peaks. So highest point looks like, let's see, that's another mountain peak. Where's highest point? That's a depression. Do you see it? Is it Mount Jackson? No, it's other. Wait. Maybe that is highest point. Vinson Massif. Oh yeah, highest, it says right there. Highest point in Antarctica, 16,067 feet. Vinson Massif. Cool. And a political map of Australia. Oh my gosh. Antarctica. All the pieces that are divided up among the different countries there. Then we have extreme environmental. Let's get the penguin. Make sure you can see the penguin. That's very important. Antarctica, located at Earth's southernmost point, is one of the planet's most extreme environments. This ice-covered landmass experiences average temperatures ranging from a mild 22.5 degrees Fahrenheit on the Antarctic Peninsula to a bitter negative 67.2 degrees Fahrenheit on the high interior plateau. During the Antarctic winter, pack ice, which is frozen seawater, forms around the continent, making it even colder. The waters surrounding Antarctica are colder and less salty than Earth's major oceans. This results in a marine boundary called the Antarctic Convergence, where the water temperature changes sharply in a short distance. The mixing of waters along the convergence creates a zone extremely rich in nutrients, especially krill, which supports seals, penguins, whales, and other marine life that have adapted to the continent's extreme. And so we have all the flags of the world. I would go through, but this video is already getting really long, so I was intending for this to be a quick video to rest my voice, but here I am yammering on with my sneezy cat, so if I see you tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow, but not, then that means I'm definitely resting my voice. And I will see you soon. Where we will go over the history of Serbia. Okay, I'm excited for it. Because it's a really interesting history. So, anyway. Thank you for watching. I hope this video is relaxing and somewhat educational. I apologize for my